Books, books. I like books. I'm gonna read them all.
Hi readers, Chris here. Welcome to my channel where I review fantasy, Stephen King, all sorts of books, and today I'm going to be doing an unhaul. If you've been following me over on Instagram, you may know that April has been kicking my butt. Work has just been insane. I have barely had time to read, definitely haven't had time to do videos, so I know I've been a bit quiet lately, and I was like, what can I do to try and get back into the swing of things? And I thought doing some spring book cleaning would be a good idea. Now, it's always very hard for me to get rid of books. Why? Because I'm a hoarder. I know, that is a me problem. So I have a very eclectic group of books that I'm going to be unhauling today, but let's jump right in. So for starters, let's start with some of the Owl Crate books that I'm going to get rid of. I'm actually considering pausing my subscription to Owl Crate for a while. I've been doing it for a number of years now, and I've really been struggling with their books. Like, they are so pretty. They look lovely on my shelf, but the stories are they're not that great. I mean, not all of them are bad, but I feel like there's way more ones that I have struggled with than I have enjoyed. I will still keep doing their adult box. Unfortunately, the adult box doesn't come with any goodies. So, the YA ones, though, I'm going to unhaul. First is Midnight Strikes by Zeba Shanaz. I just read this one in, December, January, and yeah, it's a really cool book. It's a nice hardcover, nice gold sprayed edges. It's basically a fantasy time loop story. So young girl gets stuck in a time loop, has to figure out how to save the kingdom type plan. Yeah, bottom line, I just didn't really like this one that much. So there's no reason for me to hang on to it. Next up, we have The Gilded Ones by Namina Forna. This might actually be the first Owl Crate book that I ever got. I think this might be the first one. And so I've hung on to it for a few years. This one is okay. Like, I didn't hate it, but I also didn't love it. And there's a sequel, which I'm never going to read the sequel. I didn't like it enough to want to continue it, if that makes sense. So it's about a young girl, and in this world, if you have gold blood instead of red blood, you're put to death. But on the day that she's supposed to be put to death, she gets taken out of her village and be like, hey, you're gonna be this warrior in this, super secret royal, task force type thing, and you're gonna fight monsters. And then they discover all these secrets about who the monsters really are and what their blood really means and yada, yada, yada. And it's a solid story. It's solid. But again, there was nothing about it that made me be like, oh my God, I need to continue this. So again, as pretty and as stunning as this book is, I'm going to be unhauling it. I just realized I should have said this at the beginning, but some of the books that I'm unhauling, I will put on my PANGO bookstore, because maybe someone will want to buy it and maybe they can get more joy out of it than me. However, there are some that I won't put on PANGO for various reasons that I will donate instead. So the first two I just showed, they will go on PANGO, as well as this one, and that is going to be Masters of Death by Olive Blake. This was my first Olive Blake book. I was really excited, and I love the way this book looks. I love the cover of this book. I love the black sprayed edges. And then even the inside cover, it's so cool. I love it so much. But I did not love this book. I did not love this book. This book is so odd. It's so bizarre. I honestly, it's not even worth me trying to explain what it's about because it's just unexplainable. So this one really hurts me. Out of all the books that I'm unhauling today, this one hurts me because it's just visually so lovely. But yeah, I'm gonna put this one on PANGO. Next up, another recent read, and that is Ballad and Dagger by Daniela Jose Older. Again, like simple. This is Percy Jackson, but for like a young Latin American kid. I think this book is probably best enjoyed by someone in the Latin American community, which I'm not a part of. So I would love like to be able to give this book to someone specifically in hopes that they would enjoy it. But since I don't know anyone in my life that would fit into that category, I'm going to put it on PANGO and hopefully someone will find it and have a better experience with it than I did. And final Owl Crate book I'm getting rid of is Witches Steeped in Gold, the first book that I have DNF'd in many, many, many years. I really don't think I need to say anything more here. I don't DNF, so the fact that I DNF this one is quite a big deal, so there is absolutely zero reason for me to hang on to it. Next up, I have two science fiction books that really make me sad to unhaul, and that's going to be The Diabolic and The Empress by S.J. Kincaid. So this is part of a series. I don't have the third book in the series. I don't. And the fact that I haven't sought out the third book when I read these 2 years ago, like, I don't think I'm ever gonna go back to it. Even if I picked up the third book, it's been so long, I would have to go back and like read these again. And I don't want to do that. Like, I want to move on to new stuff. So I really enjoyed both these books. This is a great series. If you're into sci-fi, like YA sci-fi, and you've never read The Diabolic, I highly recommend these. I really do. Again, I had to make some really tough decisions to make some room on my shelves, and unfortunately, I'm going to be putting these up for sale on PANGO. Another series that makes me sad to part with is going to be Red Queen by Victoria Aveyard. So I have all 4 books in the series: Red Queen, Glass Sword, War Storm, I forget what the 4th one was, and then I even have Cruel Crown, which is 2 novellas. I have read this series. I've read the novellas. I really enjoyed this series overall. I don't love all of the books and everything about it, but I did have a good time reading this one. But again, I do not see myself going back to this. I feel like I've moved way beyond this series. I don't love it enough to like return to it ever someday. So unfortunately, I'm going to get rid of all of my Red Queen books. These ones in particular, I am going to donate because the set that I have, they're all mismatched. Like this one's a hardcover, Glass Sword is a soft cover, King's Cage doesn't even have a cover. So like I can't sell it as a set, so therefore I'm just going to donate it. Next up, I have a Wizard of Earthsea by Ursula K. Le Guin. I know someone recommended this series to me. I just don't remember who it was. I am so sorry. But I know someone did. And this book is very much like classic high fantasy. Really reminded me of reading like Lord of the Rings. And while I did enjoy the story, that classic writing style is a real struggle for me. It's just not what I prefer. So even though I really enjoyed the story, I just don't see myself continuing with the series again. There's just so much to choose from, and there's so much I want to get to. I just can't do it. So I'm going to have to unhaul this one. Okay, I have 3 books left in my pile that are extremely random, like really, really random. So I'm just going to go through them super, super quick. But one is my copy of Don Quixote that I've had since I read Don Quixote in college. Yes, I do have a collection of classics. If you saw my bookshelf tour, you know that they're in there. I'm never going to read this again. I'm not going to go back to it. This isn't a particularly like nice or fancy copy, so no reason to hang on to it. I also have Polar City Blues by Catherine Kerr. This is a book that I read, I believe it was last year, that was recommended to me by CJAR. I really liked this one. It was a really cool sci-fi. It was like a little bit Blade Runner, a little bit, and now I can't think of another movie besides Blade Runner. But again, I don't see myself going back to this one. Like, I keep trying to read more sci-fi, but I'm just a fantasy lover at heart. So, gonna unhaul this one. And then finally, I have Olga Dy Dreaming by Xochitl Gonzalez. I picked this up at a library sale because I had heard like really good reviews about it, yada, yada, yada. I never ended up reading it. And seeing it on my shelf and seeing all the other unread books on my shelf, I'm like, I'm never going to pick this one up like over a fantasy. I'm never going to pick this up over a Stephen King book. I'm not going to pick it up over any of those things. So there's no reason for me to hang on to it. Since this was a book of the month, like this is going to be donated. And also I should have mentioned Polar City Blues, Don Quixote. These are all going to be donated as well. So that is it for me today. And Swiper, hopefully with this little break, I'll be regenerized and back to you soon with more regular content. But until then, let me know if you've unhauled anything recently, whether you've donated it, resold it, whatever. Let me know all your bookish adventures in the comments section below. And as always, if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you're not already, please subscribe to my channel for more bookish stuff coming your way soon. All right, everyone, happy reading.